Okay, guys, so I found this video today and I thought it was kind of funny because it says the worst survival game ever made. And it's about 7 Days to Die, which I've based my entire YouTube channel around. And in my opinion, it's the greatest survival game ever made. So I thought we would check it out and see what Dumb Ways to Kai has to say about our favorite game.
What you can get done in 7 days. You could go on a nice break to the Lake District, read the first half of a series of Song and Ice and Fire, do all the things Craig David did in that song he wrote in the year 2000, or you could just do what I do most weeks and do
like his editing style.
Dread. Hello everyone and Happy New Year. My name is Dumb Ways to Kai and welcome back to another installment of the worst survival game ever, a series where I am going to do my best to play every survival game in the hopes of finding the worst one. After some recommendations from you on my previous videos,
who would recommend 7 Days to Die as the worst survival game? You're missing out if you think this is the worst survival game. It is the greatest survival game, Dumb Ways to Kai. The greatest. Continue.
I've chosen to do this episode on the FPS Tower Defense Survival Horror Zombie RPG 7 Days to Die. Having never played it before, the 38 consecutive hours I put into this video left me with some mixed feelings.
I have probably between console version and PC version, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 hours, if not more.
Day and a half of a game might not sound like a lot, but for this one, it was more than enough. I might be full of hate.
More than enough? How could you get enough 7 Days to Die? Oh, Dumb Ways to Kai, you disappoint me, my friend.
But I'm also full of knowledge of why I hate it. I don't think it was an inherently bad game, and it definitely has potential. I just didn't enjoy where it's at right now, and where it has been for the last few years. So without further non-contextual ranting, let's get to it. First, let's have a look at the developer, the Fun Pimps. The Fun Pimps are a small group of game and software developers based in Texas, and have spent the last 10 years working on their only release.
And it has been an alpha for 10 years. It is a long time. I totally get it. But for a long time, it was a very little group. They've recently expanded, so things are hopefully going to start going a bit faster.
7 Days to Die, which is still firmly in alpha, and recently celebrated its 10-year in early access anniversary. I'm not sure that's something to be celebrated, but
There's a lot of games staying in early access. Like one of my favorite games, Project Zomboid, has been in early access for a very, very long time.
Respect the enthusiasm. The average 7 Days to Die team member has 14 years of experience in game and software development, with at least 10 of those years being dedicated to 7 Days to Die, no doubt. I won't criticise the slow development too much, especially since the Fun Pimps have been actively and continuously updating and working on the game. And I know
they have. Mostly. There was a little issue with the console version with rights and Telltale and some other stuff, but that's for another video.
Absolutely nothing about game development, as I am but a simple YouTuber trying to make his way in these pixelated worlds. And 10 years in alpha, being constantly worked on and only working on this one game, putting this much dedication into quality over quantity, I'm sure we're in for a real content-packed treat. 7 Days to Die is an open-world, voxel-based sandbox game that is a mix of first-person
the greatest open-world voxel-based sandbox game of all time.
Shooter, survival horror, tower defense RPG that combines combat, crafting, looting, mining, exploration, and character growth. The worlds are also procedurally generated, but all of the buildings are handmade and remain consistent. So I guess if you throw enough sticky genres at a wall, something is eventually going to stick. The game takes place in the fictional county of Navezgane, Arizona, and yes.
Now, if you play only on Navezgane, you're going to get burnt out, but if you change the worlds up, it's like playing brand new every time.
So I absolutely had to look it up and check that it wasn't actually a real place. Niche American towns aren't at the top of my random trivial knowledge. And from random newspaper clippings strewn about the map, you can deduce that the zombie outbreak came from either the full...
That's literally the only bit of lore that the entire game has. It's those newspaper clippings.
...out from a nuclear war, a mutated influenza epidemic...
But it's not a game that you really needed a lot of lore for. You can create your own lore in this game and make up your own stories. That's one of the things that makes 7 Days to Die the greatest game ever made.
Or a nice healthy mix of both of these world raw dogging incidents. The basic premise of the game is that every 7 days you are going to be attacked by a horde of zombies which progressively get more difficult the longer you survive. The days between these zombie raids are filled with base building, looting, crafting, gaining XP to boost various skills, trader quests, and the general stuff you expect from a survival game.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, yeah.
Currently on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, but for now...
Okay, this is true right here. Okay, it is also on PS5 and Series X and S. But PC version is the only one that is currently, as I'm making this video, to Alpha 21. These are not.
Now I'm going to be focusing on the PC release, which as of making this video is on sale for £4.55, but usually retails at $18.99, or 4.5 mil deals. So let's dive in and see whether browses wares or take on various jobs from him.
Now,
Come in the form of either Clear Zombie.
Traders on PC is a totally different world than Traders on console. He's just lucky that he's playing the PC version and not the console version. There's actually stuff to do at the Trader on PC, so there you go, Dumbways Takai. Also, hit me up, man, if you ever want to collaborate. We're about the same size channel. Because we just hit 2,500 subscribers, my friends. 2,500. We just hit it. We're on our way to 3K. Let's do it. Smash up that like button and that subscribe button if you haven't already. That is all.
Quests or fetch quests, and I'm sure that won't get tedious at any point. Jobs are used to gain XP and rewards to help you progress through the game. You also earn money to buy things from the trader's inventory. Seeing as my old base was over 1 kilometer away and I am inherently lazy,
I think he took this game as just to play it. Like most people who play 7 Days to Die try to immerse themselves in the world, create their own story, their own backstory, all of those things. Not everybody, but a lot of the people, that's the way they play these kind of games, and he didn't take that aspect to it. So I think maybe that's why he didn't have the same feeling about it.
I've chosen to relocate directly next door for my convenience. It was at this point I noticed I had 4 whole skill points to spend. This would have been great to know earlier, and I'm not sure whether I wasn't paying attention or if the game just did.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention, buddy. As soon as you finish your stuff over there on the side, your little tutorial, it tells you that you have 4 points to spend. Should have been paying attention, buckaroo.
Didn't notify me at all. There are a multitude of skills you can level up.
It notified you. It tells you right here.
Various combinations depending on how you want to play the game. This itself can work really well in multiplayer, as if you have a good group with a specific set of skills, each of you...
I think you really need to give this game another shot, my friend, because you didn't play it the way it's intended to be played.
Focus on different tasks and lengthen your...
But really playing a game any way that you want to play is how it's meant to be played, I guess. But you're looking at it trying to find only the negatives. You didn't look for the positives, really. Like, I can jump on this game and spend hours and hours playing it, so...
chances of survival. But seeing as I have no friends and I'm playing this all by myself, I'm going to put my skill points in resource and health focused options. I set my eyes on gathering resources to build myself a fortress worthy of holding back the angriest horde, and whilst gathering enough wood to rebuild the ship of Theseus 5 times over, I noticed lots of raw meat. That is the most disproportionate crafting ratio.
So in console, it's not that way. I agree with this part. That is the dumbest way for food, but...
I have ever seen. 5 raw to 1 cooked meat. Make it make sense. Imagine buying a 5-pack of chicken from Tesco's just to make 1 small and slightly burnt chicken burger. You're either a horrendous cook going through a lot of trial and error, or you're in a bad...
It's the apocalypse, man. It's the apocalypse. Cut him some slack.
Bad video game. Either way, someone's going to go...
Bad video game. We're starting to not be friends, sir.
Hungry. And just when I thought hunger, thirst, and infection couldn't get any worse, due to the lack of finding any form of...
This is an issue that I had first playing 7 Days to Die was infection. On PC, anyways. But there's so many ways to negate that it's not even an issue anymore.
Clothing, I started freezing to death, so I made a quick fire and went and sat by it, only to abruptly burst into flames. I can't catch a break.
I've never done that. That's very difficult to do, so... I mean, like, that's pretty cool that you were able to go catch on fire like that. I've never been able to actually do it.
Room full of grief-stricken psychics, there are quite literally 0 happy mediums in this game. After putting myself out and tending to my burns, I spent the night building walls around my cabin, thinking that if I do enough of these, I may just be able to survive the blood moon. It worked on Attack on Titan, right? The hunger really started to affect me, so I rummaged everywhere for a scrap of food, and eventually...
Also, if, like, food and water are so easy to find, the canned foods are in pretty much every building. Water is not a huge deal.
We found some, in the form of an old sham sandwich in the trash, which I chowed down on.
And you don't even need can openers to open the canned food, so... Him having this big of an issue finding food is absolutely crazy to me.
contracting dysentery almost immediately, which is fair enough. I can't even argue against that. I ate a trash sandwich. What did I expect? Just about managing to clear out the third house, I started hobbling back to the trader to collect my reward. Hungry, thirsty, infected, and quite literally shitting myself, the reality of my upcoming demise was setting in. I knew I wasn't going to make it much longer. I decided to go out on my own terms in a literal blaze of glory, and I will say, it took a hauntingly long time to burn to death. I definitely wouldn't recommend it. When I did finally die, it dawned on me. The game is called 7 Days to Die, and I died well before that. Does that mean I've won the game? I'm the best survival game player ever. Well, apparently that isn't the goal of the game, so the title's very misleading. Should maybe go for 7 Days to Not
Good job on building a base, though. It's kind of cool looking.
Die, seeing as that's the whole point. I was quite happy to see a different kind of fetch quest that involved digging, which ended up
My least favorite.
being pretty tedious, but I will say the digging physics are cool. I really like the ability to pretty much completely manipulate the environment. It opens up a ton of different avenues.
So, if you guys agree with Dumb Sakai that 7 Days to Die is the worst survival game ever, let me know in the comments. If you think it's the greatest game ever, let me know in the comments. To me, 7 Days to Die, when it comes to open world survival games, there's nothing better than 7 Days to Die. Does it have its problems? Yes, every game does. But this game, there is no better. That is all. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.